Good morning. I'm Alicia Van Egmond with the Sheridan Sun News, and today we're talking about women's reproductive issues. So, ovarian cancer is the fifth most common cancer within women. So, I'm here with Aiden Gutman today to have her talk about her experiences. So, tell me your experience.
So in high school, I started getting really intense stomach pains one day, and I called my mom to pick me up. And by the time she got to the school to get me, she said that I looked yellow, like I looked like a Simpson.
Mm-hmm.
So she took me immediately to the emergency room, where I was rushed into the ER. I didn't wait at all because I looked so terrible. So they rushed me right in, and it turned out after doing some scans that I had an ovarian cyst.
Really? So, going back to your point about the hospitals, waiting time, most of the time people here can wait hours.
Yep.
So, because of the triage system, so how was it for you? You got rushed in right away, so they must have known that something was very serious.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to emergency a few times, like, throughout my life, and I always have to wait about, like, 5 or 6 hours. Like, it's the worst, so I always dread going. But as soon as the nurse saw me, like, my coloring, and I was just not even there. I was in so much pain. So she saw immediately and just rushed me right in. Like, thank God she did, because I don't know how I would have waited in that waiting room in that amount of pain.
Yeah, so what did they do for you? What was your recovery process like?
Well, I was lucky. A lot of people with ovarian cysts have to get them surgically removed. Mine didn't go that far. It wasn't big enough that it needed surgery, and it actually went away on its own. And I've actually had 2 since, and they've gone away on their own. So I think it's just like once you have it once, you kind of like you're prone to getting them again. So I've been lucky so far.
So most women do get ovarian cysts and they don't even know about it, or, you know, like you said, they get them repetitively. So why do you think that people don't talk about it?
I mean, I had no idea like what was happening to me, and I'd never even really heard of them before. I think it's because, I mean, anything to do with like women's reproductive organs, it's very taboo, I find, like in like politics and in schools, like they don't really touch on it as much as they need to. And then women like me are unprepared when something like that happens.
For sure.
And yeah, I think it's just people don't want to talk about it because it makes them uncomfortable for some reason. But I mean, we need to do more. Women need to know about these things.
I agree completely. To be honest, I didn't know much about ovarian cysts. And growing up, when you are in school and you're learning about sex ed and everything, these aren't things that are normally touched on. So do you think that women and even men should be more aware of what's going on?
Definitely, 100%. I think there needs to be way more of the subject covered in school, for one, because like, yeah, you learn like where things are and stuff like that, but you don't learn like what they each kind of mean and what can happen to each one and what symptoms come from which diseases and this and that. So I think it's just spreading awareness and like starting from a young age, even though people find it's like, don't tell them about that stuff. It's like, it's going to come up eventually. You might as well tell them and have them prepared as early as you can. So that's my opinion anyway. I know a lot of people have conflicting opinions, but that's how I feel.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And I think women and men both need to be educated as well in this. Do you think that, like I said, there should be more going on social media wise? People are being so much more open online with these sorts of issues. And wondering if you think that because of this sort of online world now, that people are less secretive about things like this. Like, is this something that you kept to yourself? Or?
I did, yeah. I told like my close friends, but yeah, now with social media, like people, like the rise of feminism and all this, especially with women's rights, men's rights as well, people are being so much more vocal about it and their issues and their problems. And I think it's going to help other people with their problems and what they're dealing with. I know that if I heard somebody struggling with ovarian cysts or the pain that they went through, I felt like I would have been so much more prepared to like deal with it. Even like the second and third time I got them, like I still wasn't really sure like if I was just having like cramps or what it was. But yeah, I think the more people talk about it, the more it'll be brought to light, which will mean more people will be comfortable with discussing their problems.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for coming to speak with us today.
No
And that was
problem.
Aiden Gutman sharing her experiences with us. And I'm Alicia Van Egmond for the Sheridan Sun. Thank you and have a good night.